Propane is 4 generations strong as a trustworthy, family-owned business with unmatched customer service. Go online at DeSantoPropane.com for more info or call toll-free at 1-800-752-4574 today. Since 1937, the difference has been DeSanto Propane.
Welcome to FLX Weekly here on January 29th, 2025. I'm Jim Sinicropi inside the FingerLakes1.com studios in Seneca Falls, New York. And today we'll be joined again on the last Wednesday of the month, Wine Wednesday, with Katherine Chase, Executive Director of the Cayuga Lake Wine Trail. And we're going to preview the Ports of Call event coming up later in February on the Cayuga Lake Wine Trail, tasting some local wines made with foreign grapes or grapes that originated in different parts of the world, and we're going to pair those with different food items. And so I'm looking forward to it because it's always great to get a nice free lunch with some wine at 11 o'clock on Wednesdays. So glad you could join us. We'll bring Katherine in a second, but first, this episode of FLX Weekly is brought to you by Auburn Auto Group. When it comes to selection and service after the sale, Auburn Auto Group has been the premier destination for new and used car buyers for close to 40 years. Among the brands offered on Route 5 in Auburn include Chevrolet, GMC, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Honda, Toyota, and Subaru. Thanks to their wide range of makes and models, you're sure to find your new or used car at Auburn Auto Group. And also, Cafe 19. Breakfast, lunch, pastries, celebratory cakes, pies, and catering guaranteed fresh and always local at Cafe 19 in Seneca Falls. Also offering an assortment of beverages including tea, coffee, and espresso drinks. Check out their full menu and weekly specials at xixcafe.com. And I should mention, Casey Galloway, owner of Cafe 19, has recently acquired a coffee roasting business, and she's going to be in studio to talk all about that in a couple weeks here on FLX Weekly. So I'll be sure to make sure you check out the front page of Finger Lakes One for that episode. But today, it's Ports of Call, a trip around the world, culinary, wine. Katherine, welcome back.
Thank you.
How's January going?
It's cold, slow, intimate when you go for tastings.
Yeah, you probably got the whole place yourself a lot of times, right?
Maybe not only yourself, but
yeah,
definitely not crowded like the summer. But before I forget, while you mentioned Cafe 19, their new coffee is actually sponsoring our DD program.
Oh, wow.
So you'll get their coffee if you buy a DD ticket at all of our events this year.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Love the synergy.
Absolutely. I didn't want to forget that once you said that. I should have wrote it down. I'm like, oh, I'm glad you mentioned that. And I didn't want to trust my brain to remember that later on.
So a lot of people do come, go to the wine trails this time of year, basically because it is more accessible.
Yeah.
And, you're inside some of these great winter views without the leaves on the trees.
You can see the lake better with all the leaves.
It's a good time to go at a more leisurely pace, I suppose, and stock up on some wine, taste some wine. So, but the event season kind of starts to kick into gear in February, and the first one is, the Valentine's Day on the 14th.
Yep, which is a Friday, I think.
Yeah. So
and then the following weekend, we have Ports of Call, which is a reimagined event from before my time with the Wine Trail. They did it in the 90s, early 2000s, and we are bringing it back, giving it new life. Basically, you travel the world without needing a passport, without needing the hassle of an airport is kind of how we're, billing it, which is perfect because it's cold. And I brought you 3 of the different places that you can travel. I wish I could have made them all because the food is delightful. But we only have 30 minutes.
Yeah, sampling. We're doing a sampling.
Yep. So we're going to eat, because we're grown-ups, we're going to start with dessert first because we can do that. Because we're going to sample just by sweetness and dryness of the wines. So our first stop is Knapp Winery, and their country is Georgia. And we're going to try Gozinaki and Saperavi. Saperavi is their wine, which is a grape that is native to Georgia.
I love Saperavi.
Good. Yeah. So it's a dry red wine. Gozinaki is a traditional Georgian delicacy. It's made with walnuts and honey, so it's rich, nutty, and lightly sweet. So the Saperavi wine, it is a bold, full-bodied red wine. It flavors with dark berries and earthy undertones. So the bright acidity balances the sweetness of the Gozinaki, while its deep fruity notes complement the toasted walnut flavors beautifully. I just made it fresh this morning. I haven't tried it yet. Not the wine, obviously, the Gozinaki. So how do you... I see you crunching over there.
What do we do? Sip,
Sip, eat, sip.
sip, eat, sip.
Sip, eat, sip, yep. My house smells super nutty and honey.
Man, I do. That's good wine. Yeah, Saperavi is something that, at least from what I could tell, is starting to come around more in the Finger Lakes.
Yeah, there's
it wasn't
a
around
festival
maybe
for Saperavi.
15, 20 years ago. And it's great, similar to a cab, I think.
Yeah, it's
in a
very
lot of ways.
dry.
And what's this called?
It's called Gozinaki,
Gozinaki.
which is obviously a Georgian word. So when I made it, I bought walnuts, and you're supposed to chop them up and roast them a little bit in the oven. And then while those are roasting, you take honey and sugar, put those in a pan, and pretty much caramelize it a little bit. And then you add the walnuts to the pan, caramelize it a little bit more. Then you just put them on a pan, let it harden, and then you cut them into bars.
Almost like a peanut brittle, but
Yeah,
with
it's a little bit
walnuts.
like a brittle, like a nut brittle.
And
It's not overly sweet.
The roasted walnut flavor really pairs well with the dry wine.
It does. That's great.
Really good. You need another bite.
It's not overly desserty either, so I don't feel bad starting with the dessert. Not that I ever would, but yeah, that's good. I'm not a huge honey fan, I'll admit. Just never loved honey, so I was a little nervous to try this, but I do enjoy this. Probably
The
tastes really
walnut
good with
flavor
coffee too.
kind of trumps everything else, which is perfect for drinking with the dry wine. It isn't too sweet, but it is savory, and the toasted walnuts have a more profound taste than I guess a lot of other nuts.
Yeah.
I like walnuts on
I like walnuts and
ice
cookies.
cream with maple syrup in cookies. But here it's great. Like I say, you get the sweetness, but then the roasted walnut flavor kind of takes over. Then you take a sip of the wine, and it's just perfect. Matter of fact, I'm going to do that again.
This would be good for a little after dinner snack. You still have some wine in your glass. I did a really good job making that.
Fantastic. And great wine from Nap, too. Have they traditionally done a Saperavi, or is this something new?
That's a great question. I know that they are the only ones on Cayuga that do Saperavi. I think it's semi-new for them. How new, I don't have that answer. But I don't think it's been since the beginning. Has it been since Cole Wilson took over? I don't know.
Yeah, it's a 2021.
You should pre-ask me these questions so I'd have the answers.
No, it's great. I mean, I've seen Dr. Frank has had a Saperavi for years, and I've enjoyed having that with pasta. For some reason, it just hits well. But this would also hit well with pasta, or in this case,
Yeah, it goes really well with this dessert.
yeah, really good. Yeah, well done, Nap. It's good to see.
Yeah, and I can't remember where it's hosted, but there's a Saperavi festival. I don't know that if it's at Dr. Frank or Fox Run, it's somewhere over on Seneca or Cayuga, and Napa attends that every year because it is starting to, blossom here in the Finger Lakes, the Saperavi grape.
Yeah, it's good to see.
So when we announced this event, they're like, Georgia, instantly, that's what we want to do because they wanted to feature that wine and then come up with a recipe for that. So because they're the only ones on our lake that do it. So
Good stuff.
it's good, yeah. I like that recipe.
Okay. Now, where are we landing next on
So
our
next
global
on
journey?
our global trip, we're going to France, which is Montezuma Winery. So they are doing the French onion soup paired with their Voleur Pinot Noir. You know all about French onion soup. It's got the caramelized onions simmered in the savory broth. I don't have the melted cheese just because it won't travel well. I don't have the crusty bread either. But the Pinot Noir, it's light-bodied, it's got bright acidity, and so it matches the richness of the soup. There's earthy undertones, savory flavors that just matches the sweetness of the onions.
So a little French
sip, eat,
onion
sip.
soup, sip, eat, sip. So we'll have the sip of the wine first.
But you're a soup guy, so you immediately want to dive into your soup bowl.
Oh, that's an interesting take on a Pinot Noir for sure.
Might have to swish in your mouth a little bit to get some of the walnut out of there, because I still had some walnuts.
Yeah, I'm trying to place my finger on what I'm tasting here. It's good. I'm not good at describing, like a sommelier might.
I wish I was better than I am.
Let's try some of this French onion soup. Love French onion soup this time of year.
I will be glad to eat sip. Just a minute of us saying, Sorry, guys.
Oh, wow, that Pinot does go well. You get the
It does.
strong, brothy French onion
Yeah.
taste. And then the sip of the wine just kind of mixes in with the broth and becomes this, like, savory, slightly sweet deliciousness. It's good. I'm going to do that again, too.
Yeah. That is good. The pairing balances the richness and the brightness of the wine and the sweetness. And I mean, they know what's going on. I believe they consulted the winemaker when they chose. So he chose what to do. And you don't question Phil Plummer at Montezuma. I made that motto up, but I feel like it should be like on a T-shirt.
No, man, we got to get him back in here. Last time he was here, we had so much fun. They're doing just a lot of new experimental stuff at Montezuma. And but this, as a standard Pinot Noir, is beautiful.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. And
It's definitely different. And then you can see the color difference between the Saperavi and the Pinot Noir. It's definitely much lighter, not nearly as dry. It is a little bit more acidic. I could feel it when I swished it in my mouth. But it's good. I'm trying not to eat all the soup. You're not just listening to me slurping on soup. But while you do that, I'll talk about our next. So we board the plane. Our next trip, we're going over to Canada for Cayuga Ridge Estate Winery. So if you remember when I talked about them recently, they hail.
So we're taking a plane.
We're taking a plane now.
All the way back from Europe to
so
Canada.
they hail from Canada originally. So
America's 51st state.
Yeah,
maybe,
so
they say.
are going to try a garlic and dill boursin cheese dip. So this is actually Susie's mother's recipe from Canada. We're going to pair it with their Gewurztraminer, which is a new release for Cayuga Ridge. They haven't had Gewurz before, so this is very brand new for them. So the dip is creamy cheese dip flavored with garlic and fresh dill. We have it topped on a little baguette. The Gewurztraminer is aromatic. It's floral. It's got a little bit of spice to it.
Yeah.
So
Another
it pairs with the bold
variety,
flavors.
I think, that has become more widespread, more so than the Saperavi throughout the region.
Yep.
Here in
So
the Finger Lakes.
obviously, it's not a Canadian grape. It's Austrian. So not all of the grapes are from the country that we're
Yeah, but
traveling to.
Austria
But the
certainly
food is, and the wine pairs with it. So we're pairing international foods with Finger Lakes wine sometimes. It just happened to be that Knapp had a grape from that country.
Yep.
Which worked out. So the slight sweetness from the wine does enhance the creaminess in the dip, and then the acidity keeps the pairing light and refreshing. And I tried this yesterday; it was so good. So that's why I made us two, because I knew that you would want another one. It was really good.
Probably.
It's got the perfect amount of dill in it.
Yep,
so
you
it's
can
garlic
see
and
it
dill
in there perfectly.
Oh, we're supposed to sippy sip.
I already sipped. And
I went right to eating.
I already sipped, and I got to tell you, it's the Gewurz in this case seems to be
It's
somewhere
really light.
between like a Sauvignon Blanc and a Riesling. But it's clean, crisp, fresh, light, and it's gonna go great with this.
Yeah, it is. I like this Gewurz. Sometimes it's a little too spicy for me, whereas this doesn't have too much. I'm going to do 2 sips.
Yeah. Yeah, I love these pairings. The wine tastes great on its own. The what do we call this officially?
Garlic and dill boursin cheese dip.
Yeah, the garlic and dill boursin cheese dip is great on its own too. But when you put the two together, it just really kind of knocks your socks off a little bit.
And the dill will be in your mouth all day. So you will not forget your trip to Canada.
Yeah, I love dill.
And it's not, like I said, it's not overwhelming because dill can reach that threshold where it's too much.
That's always fun when you're shopping at Wegmans or, and you see that big, fresh bundle of dill, and it makes you want. I put it on my salmon a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I use dill with salmon a lot. So many types of dips, like a bread bowl type of dip, with the dill, which is kind of what this is, just on the toast.
Yeah, I put it on toast, but you can get little bagel chips, other crackers, anything really. Any vessel to eat it with would work, I think. So let me tell you about some of the other stops that you can experience that, unfortunately, it'll just be a tease for you right now.
Give me a reason to get out there.
So at least you have some other food you can kind of sip on and eat on. So Swedish Hill, obviously they are Sweden. They are doing some Swedish almond bars, which I was tempted to make because that sounds delightful. Buttonwood Grove, you'll hop on over to Korea. They are doing japchae, which is a sweet potato starch noodle stir fry.
Oh, South or North Korea?
I don't know what. I didn't ask. I figured it was more neutral just to Korea.
Yep, good.
I'm not sure which. But I thought it was really unique to do that. So like I said, it's a sweet potato starch noodle stir fry with vegetables and meat. I'm not sure if it will have meat or not. I haven't gotten that exact recipe yet. Thirsty Owl has Portugal. They're doing pastel de nata, which is an egg custard tart pastry.
Oh, wow.
Which I was very, very, very close to making and bringing on. Hosmer is New Orleans. They're doing a classic chicken gumbo. Lucas is Germany. They're doing Sauerbraten, which is a traditional German roast, heavy like on the gravy, which sounded good too. Americana is Athens, Greece. They're making a Greek baba ganoush. And then 6 Mile Creek is Italy. They're doing a pancetta and tomato gnocchi, which is hard to say. But
what are they pairing that with? Do you have
I don't know yet. Probably a red, if I'd had to guess. But yeah, it's he's got a map up. We can kind of see it's kind of spread out. Really fun, different options to try. And I'm a picky eater, so it's cool to do these events to try new things, to try new pairings. I don't gravitate towards Saperavi, so to try it in this element is how I can try something new to me. And so that's, I encourage you guys to do these events, to open your horizons and try new wines, try new foods, try these pairings, because I think you'll be really surprised at what you'll come away with,
Yeah, it's always a surprise to me, and I struggle. Basically, if I'm gonna
like
have
what you like,
red meat, I'm gonna have like a cab. If I'm gonna have seafood, I'm gonna have some sort of white, whether it's a Riesling or Sauvignon Blanc. But take it to the next level and think about the stuff that pairs well with like a dill or a walnut, like you did here, or the brothy, beef-based onion taste of French onion. It's fun. It's fun, and to be able to go on this event and do it, over and over again at different wineries, it should not only just be fun to do, but it should inspire you to think of, okay, when you have this dish I make at home, I think this wine would go really well with it. You discover the perfect pairing, I guess. Yeah. So
the dill would probably, they were going back and forth with their Cab Franc, so the dill might pair with one of the reds as well.
So, yeah, and Cab Franc seems to be everywhere lately, and we're actually becoming kind of known for it around here.
Yep.
So this is, like I said off the top, this kind of kicks off the season of events at the Cayuga Lake Wine Trail. So there's the Urban Wine Weekend. There's what else is coming up this spring?
Call, February 22nd, 23rd. Bacon on the Lake Inn.
Yes.
March 22nd, 23rd. Wine and Herb, there's 2 weekends, the last weekend of April, the first weekend of May. We have the Wagger Tail along the trail. That's not a ticketed event where you can bring your pups the first 2 weeks in June. Then there's the break where the wineries are busy.
Yeah, they don't need events.
They don't need events. They can't handle events. Then there's Harvest, and then we have the holiday shopping spree November, December.
And then we'll be back here. It'll be January again before you know it. Yay.
Yep. To me, mentally, event season starts in November and goes to May. It's not necessarily a calendar year, but
yeah, no, that makes sense. And last time we talked, actually, it was 2 times ago we talked, was when you were getting ready for the holiday event.
Yep.
How was that?
Oh, it was great. Everyone loved the little gnomes. Obviously, it was really successful. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, it's good. Good to see. So yeah, this. Do you have to register at the website for
Yeah,
this?
so go to CayugaWineTrail.com. Under Wine Trail events, you can find the page to purchase tickets. There's 60 a couple. 60 a single, and then you can get a DD ticket. So everything but the wine. And like I said, Elemental Lab Company, I believe, is the
That's Casey's new
Yep.
coffee company. Yep.
they are sponsoring the DD program, so you'll get non-alcoholic drinks instead of the wine, and that's $32 for a ticket. So you can still experience the food, just not necessarily paired with the wine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ate some more of the
And
walnuts.
it's for all 10 of the wineries, and you can go Saturday and Sunday, or just one of the days if you so choose. So you can spread it out or lump it all in.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get a break. This has been a tough winter in terms of like consistently being
It's been
snowy
a
and
little
cold.
wintry.
Yeah. But we're almost in February. Of course, this is our last episode of the month
Yep.
of January.
It's our birthday month. We're February people.
That's right, February 20th for me. What's your
I'm
date?
the 4th.
The 4th. So
Next week.
when we get back together, the
We'll be
last
1 year
Wednesday
older.
of February, which won't be long. February's a short month. We're
February's a
talking
short month.
4 more weeks maybe. We can maybe do something for our birthdays.
Yeah.
Birthdays aren't as much fun anymore. As they
No,
used
not
to
when
be.
you're an adult, really.
But and what I found when I was younger, having a birthday in February was great. It actually coincided with me with President's Week, so
Oh, yeah.
it was always
We
like,
always had the week off.
yeah.
Yep.
So it was always like, yay, it's my birthday, it's February.
Mine would be on the Super Bowl often.
Oh, yeah.
Not
that's
that I was
fun.
like a football fan then, but that would happen.
So now, it's February's a kind of a depressing month a little bit, as you get older, and then you got your birthday.
Yeah.
It's a different vibe.
It's a different vibe as an adult, for sure. When you're a kid, you could have cool indoor parties.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I've always had fun on my birthday.
Yeah.
But it's just then the realization sets in that you took another trip around the sun.
Yeah. And I'm pushing 40, so.
Oh, you're
I'll
just
be
a baby.
39,
You're
so.
just a baby. You're just.
And then next year will be a little different.
I think I turned 53 this time.
Yeah, it's to the point where you almost start questioning how.
Well, I've been wrong before, where I thought.
I was wrong
in a
one
good
year.
way. I
Wow.
think when I was 40, I think it was when I was 48. I thought that I was actually 49, or when I was 47, I thought I was 48. And then when I realized it was like, man, I gained a year. So I try to trick myself every year now, but
You're like gaslighting yourself.
yeah, that might have been a one-time deal. So, but yeah, anyways, like we said off the top, in addition to this event, stop by any winery on the Cayuga Lake Wine Trail, over the next couple weeks. And
Absolutely.
it's different experience than in the summer with the hustle and bustle and the cars and
Totally.
people. And now it's be a more personalized experience, spend some time talking to. And a lot of times this time of year too, the winemakers actually will be in the tasting rooms.
winemakers, owners, the tasting room managers who are usually too busy during the summer, the general managers, you just get that one-on-one. I remember preaching it last time I was here, but it's true. Like, you'll just really get that good knowledge that hopefully you're seeking, and you could learn something fun. Like, that person could have made that bottle that you're
Yeah, and they might be able to spend 15, 20 minutes with you
Yeah.
instead of, just in passing. So,
instead of just an impersonal experience that you may get over the summer just because you came at a busy time.
and there's no like less accessibility. I mean, obviously you're not going to be sitting outside on the
Right.
patio most days, but you are going to be sitting in a room usually with nice
Yeah.
picture window views of lakes, and
Yeah.
so
But if you do want to sit outside, Buttonwood has those big fire cauldrons, and they are offering an outdoor experience with like food pairing. So you
Oh,
can
wow.
do that. Yeah.
yeah. Well, I tell you,
I mean, if you really like it, but I mean, it'll keep you warm, but they have that experience to really embrace winter in the Finger Lakes.
yeah. Well, hey, especially if the temperature just creeps up a little bit towards 40, then.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of warmish today.
Today is kind of warm. Of course, it's wet and
Snowy.
snowy. So, but,
It's
but
not
yeah.
0.
Well, thanks for taking me on this journey around the globe today.
Couple stamps in your passport.
Yep, it was great. Learned a little something. I learned that I like roasted walnuts with Saperavi.
Yeah.
That's probably my biggest takeaway. But again, you can go to the Cayuga Lake Wine Trail website and check out all their upcoming events, and especially this Ports of Call event coming up on February 22nd.
2nd and 23rd. Yep.
And so thanks for joining us here. Happy birthday on February
Thank you.
4th. we'll see you on the other side.
Yep, you as well.
Katherine will be back next on the last Wednesday of February, and probably talk about bacon on the lake, and maybe have a bunch of bacon stuff in here. So sounds good to me.
Birthday bacon for us.
And so for all you, hey, hang in there. It's January's almost over. It's almost February. February's short. Then it's March. You know, we're gonna get through this thing here.
January is the longest month of the year.
Together, yeah. But not always the worst, because you know what? After everything you're doing all year long and through the fall and then the holidays, you don't have to do anything in January.
Yeah, it's a nice mental break.
So it is not the prettiest month necessarily, or the month where you can be the most active outdoors, but it is a nice little break, chance for you to catch your breath.
Yes, agreed.
But spring is coming. So thanks everybody for joining us here on FLX Weekly. I think we'll be back next week. I know we've got Seneca Falls Acupuncture coming up. We've got Casey Galloway coming up with her new coffee roasting venture. I think we have Joel Murney Karstein and the New York Canal Conference, or the World Canal Conference, coming up. So we got a lot of shows coming up on FLX Weekly over the next several weeks, and then Katherine will be back last Wednesday of February. So hey, hang in there, everybody. Have a great week. Thanks for joining us.